You know, a dragon's weight really depends on the scales. What's going on, YouTube? February is officially here, which is a massive, massive month for the Elder Scrolls Online. And I'm not just saying that to try to get you to watch this video for a little bit longer. We've already got ourselves an arm pack, which means you're going to be able to go out and get some undaunted shoulders and helmets. But mainly for me, it's got the Mid-Year Mayhem event. Mid-Year Mayhem is double alliance points. Now, you might think to yourself, double alliance points, what's the significance of this? Well, it's not the significance for how much money you can make on it now, it's about how much you're going to make on it in the future. Just to give a brief outlook, I always think it's important to highlight what's going on throughout the month of February, but also, let's think long term here. Q4 is going to be a PvP update. That means that all of those lovely jubbly sets that we use in PvP are going to be utilized and bought and sold more throughout that time period, likely for a healthy profit, because people might want to participate in the new feature, but we don't know exactly what it is. Well, it is a PvP feature, so that gives us enough to know that PvP sets are going to be on the rise, and Alliance points is one of the key currencies to use to buy those PvP sets. But also, not just that, because as people get ready for Mid-Year Mayhem, they're also going to be looking to buy PvP sets because they're going to want to participate to get double Alliance points. So we're able to milk that market on both ends, but also we got a whole lot to discuss. So we're going to briefly go through the Crown Store Showcase. The reason that I like to go through these is not just the kind of free things that you can get throughout your monster set farming. It's mostly too just because it's good to know the price of crowns going to go up, down, because there's quite a few people of you who are either free to play or like to sell crowns to get a good chunk of gold to then utilize in your other gameplay. So it's kind of important to note, is there a lot of cool things in here? Is it a good time to sell crowns? Is it a good time to buy crowns? I would say that February as a month looks pretty tame. There's nothing in here that's going to be super ultra fragilistic expialidocious. Most of the motifs that you're seeing here, you've already been able to earn throughout a whole long time period in ESO. For example, this one comes from Scale Collar. Scale Collar's been out for a while, but here we get to our arms pack. And this is where things get extra spicy in my opinion. So from February 1st to February 8th, you're able to farm Veteran Crypt of Hearts 2 to gain access to the ability to get the helmet that you see him wearing right there. You see that little helmet? You can get that style page as a sellable item just by farming Crypt of Hearts 2 on Veteran. And if you have the achievement, the Blade's Edge, you increase the odds of you getting that helmet every time you farm it. Now, that helmet's not necessarily the most valuable item in the game, but it's still worth several hundred thousands of gold. Even if it's over farmed, it's still worth a few 100,000 gold. And if you have the achievement and you buy the 1 mystery key coffers, which you can see right here, you have a chance to get his shoulders. You get the ability to get his shoulders and his helmet as sellable items throughout this month. Next, we have more generic crown items. I do actually really love this Daedric artifact. I think it's very cool. And then we have Lady Thorn. Now, Lady Thorn is not one of the most valuable monster set helmets in the game, but I will tell you that it is exceptionally profitable still because most people do not like going in there. So Lady Thorns will be arm packs, so just as we saw above, will be available from February 5th to the 12th. So if you farm Veteran Castle Thorn, you have the ability to get the helmet, and then if you use your mystery keys, you can get the shoulders. And then having the achievement Thorn Remover, which is the Veteran Hard Mode Clear, you increase your chances. So if you ever have the achievement for Veteran Hard Mode, you increase your odds. Now, a lot of people think that that means you have to farm it on Veteran Hard Mode every single time, and the answer to that is no. However, because as you saw above with Scale Collar, we're going to scroll back up here because we're going to do some learning. Scale Collar motifs are very rarely complete book, have the chances out from Zons from the Scale Collar and Scale Collar Peak Dungeon. Harder difficulties will increase the chance of the item dropping. So, if you actually farm a dungeon, you have a higher chances depending on the difficulty to get the motifs associated with it, such as the Scale Collar one from the Scale Collar motif. It's not tied to the Crown Store. This is just you able to buy it if you want it. They rotate some of them for a couple 100,000 crowns. You can always get the Scale Collar motif, however. And if you farm it on Veteran Hard Mode, you are guaranteed to get the motif any time of year. You do Scale Collar, Veteran Hard Mode, you're guaranteed a motif. That does not translate, though, to the arms packs. So in short, the achievement for having the veteran hard mode, which is Thorn Remover, increases your odds of getting the shoulders from your mystery keys, or it increases the odds from you farming on veteran to get those helmets, because you can't do it on normal and get a helmet anyway. So you get the helmet style by farming on veteran, and if you have that achievement, it boosts the odds. If you, however, wanted to also farm on veteran hard mode, you will get the associated dungeon motif guaranteed. And if you farm it on veteran, you have a higher chance to get the other associated motifs, such as this dungeon's version of the scale collar motif. Hope that all kind of makes sense. No, it's very cattywampus. I didn't design it like this. Don't kill me. Then we've got Storm Astronaut crates. Everybody loves Storm Astronaut, Sovngarde crates. And then we've got our event tickets, some furnishings. Furnishings that I don't think that are uber kind of, I look at them as seasonal. Generally, seasonal things don't sell well just because people already kind of are like, well, if I wanted to make a Valentine's-y house, I'm only going to have it for 1 month out of the year. But this is a cool item. And the statue is also pretty cool, admittedly. Apocrypha houses, Sweetwater Cascade is a decent house. I don't think it's one of the most bestly farmed one. However, this one could be pretty interesting. The Towers of Unutterable Truths. That's kind of one that I have my eye out for, that I could see making a big splash in the crown market. We got our mounts. Nothing here. It's super crazy. A lot of it. Get your pets. More pets. All the pets. A whole lot of pets. Jeez. And that is going to wrap up the crown store. So how do I think crowns will do? Well, crowns have been on the rise. Ever since the crown gifting changes that prevented you from laundering currency using either stolen credit cards or currency exchanges. It's a whole other conversation. I can't give you a 1,000-foot overview, but they stopped that. No more illegally changing currencies against what Microsoft and Sony want. Crowns have been on the rise on pretty much all platforms. Some have seen as high as 400 to 1 on console, which if you're playing on PC, you're probably like 400 to 1 is high. I mean, a little bit. It's a little bit high, compared to where we've been, but you could still sometimes find 200 to 300 gold per crown, and you can trade these through players. Usually the best way to do it is in trade guilds, because generally people there are paying weekly dues. They're, really inundated with the trading community. They're not going to take you for a ride or anything crazy. So that's my recommendation if you're looking to buy and sell crowns, is do it out of a trade guild, but as always, it's up to you. Now, we're going to talk about White Strakes Mayhem. It's been called Mid-Year Mayhem. It's been called a lot of things. The only reason we're going to go over last year's version of it, so this is the kind of the June 26th version of this, is because it's generally relatively simple. For example, you use the scroll, you get 2 hours of 100% buff in the Alliance War, Imperial City, and Battlegrounds. This might become a passive buff, so stay tuned for that. This will double your Alliance points, your XP gains for PvP kills, and so on and so on. We're just going to highlight kind of the key components here. The Pelennor reward boxes are what you're going to be getting every single time you get lots of Alliance points. So basically, this is just an event that's tailor-made to getting Alliance points. So you could do Battlegrounds, you could do the Imperial City, you can go to Cyrodiil. It's going to really depend on what you want to do. We'll probably have another dedicated video to the train. The train is basically an AP area inside of Cyrodiil, specifically the bottom left, where everyone goes and kills each other in tandem and farms massive amounts of Alliance points. It probably deserves its own dedicated video and will likely be in the White Strakes Mayhem dedicated video. But the key components of this event is not necessarily what's here. This probably all makes sense to you. It's going to be how this is going to affect the ESO market. Because a lot of times it's not necessarily knowing that there's an event that's going to be active. All of you guys probably know that at this point. It's how can you profit off of knowing this event's coming up in the future. And here is my exceptionally bright document that you can find in my Discord, which is in the comments below. So we talk about a lot of things here. Exclusionarily, we're going to focus on consumables, sets, because that's going to be what's key as we look at this upcoming event. If you could think to yourself, what are people going to be using during a PvP event? Well, the answer, PvP consumables. Who would have thought? But which sugar skulls, smoked bear haunch, everything that you can think of, from the tri-stat potions to your war torts, they are all going to be selling at a higher than average rate, because every time people are in Cyrodiil, they're going to be needing buff foods. They're going to be needing all the foods that they need. They're going to be needing potions. Do you want to go out there and not have potions and get cattywampusly stomped? No. As far as overland sets, this is where it becomes a little bit spicy because you never truly know, in my opinion, which ones are going to sell the best. However, the beautiful thing is that we don't necessarily need to guess because I can tell you as a trader from doing this for a long while that generally it's not looking at a set and knowing how good it is. For example, you don't have to think to yourself, is Meridia's Bless from Cold Harbor better than the beekeeping set from Green Shade? You could argue, but you don't need to because a lot of people are suggesting these sets. So I've acquired all of these sets and put them on here because somebody somewhere has put them into a written guide online or video. That video still continues to get views, that website still gets clicks, and these sets continue to sell. So when you think about PvP sets, all of these sets that if they are suggested in any sort of PvP instance is going to be selling at a higher rate. For example, Spriggans is not anything exceptional. Necropotence has been out for a long while itself too. Neither of those sets is necessarily really chomping at the bit. You know, it's not getting buffed recently by the devs, but people will still be going out and purchasing it with the attempt to then use it for their PvP sets. Same with things such as Red Mountain and a lot of these other overland sets, you know, from Frostbite to Unfathomable Darkness, you know, to Back Alley, Savara's Scales. All of these are going to be selling for a higher than average rate because people are going to be needing to build out their characters. And craftable sets, it is the same kind of thing. A lot of times, people will have free guild trader slots that they're not using. Fill it with crafted sets. Fill it with enchantments. Fill it with crafting food. Fill it with provisioning stuff. Always keep your guild slots full. And if you don't know what to do, put in this stuff right here. Put in some crafted sets. And just think, you know, if it's something that's more PvE focused, slap on Divines. If it's something more PvP focused, slap on Impenetrable. The nice thing too is that people, say for example, see that you have a bunch of listings. A lot of times what might happen is they might reach out to you because you can actually see who something is listed by and say, hey, could you perhaps make me some of this set in this version of it? You know, could you make it instead of having this trait, can you put this trait on there? And kind of finally, we've got treasure maps, motifs, materials, companion gear, RIP books, RIP vouchers, and furniture. I would say definitely treasure maps, motifs, and companion gear are going to be on the rise. Everyone's kind of waiting to see these new companions. People are pretty excited about that. Going to be excited to deck out some more of those Batman pajamas. Materials, you're going to be getting a lot of materials from this event, but people are also going to be needing upgrade mats to upgrade their actual accounts, characters, and whatnot. Treasure maps are just always great, as well as motifs. People need to look cool. So, I mean, you can't take that away from them. But everyone, as always, keep those guild slots full. Keep those characters grinding. Focus on all the little nitty-gritty things that we talked about today. But also, what other information would you find helpful in these kind of monthly guide videos? I always think it's key to focus on the events, where we're looking, how the economy's looking, where we're going to be shaping ourselves to. And as some bonus kind of quick-fire things to finish off the video, things such as Perfect Grow are going to be one of the easiest things for newer players to be grinding. So I always want to give people the ability to farm stuff without needing to be max level. No ESO plus required. So my tip for this month for those players is definitely to farm Perfect Grow. But also, when the event is active, if you're a new player, 10 to 50 Battlegrounds has an ELO system. You're going to be able to, per character, mind you, too. So if you're on a brand new character, you know, say you've farmed really well in a Necromancer throughout Battlegrounds, PvP and whatnot, and then you make yourself a Templar, and you're like, a little worried about my ability to go toe-to-toe with this character. Do not worry, because there is a ELO system, and it is based on the character. And doing 10 to 50 Battlegrounds is a great way to get experience. It's a great way to get alliance points, gold, rewards, and so on. So those are my tips for new players, and kind of my final tips for this video. I just want to thank you guys so much again for watching. We have our 2 new giveaway winners. This was for the answering of the Family Feud question in a random subscriber, because we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much again for that crazy milestone. And the third thing is we always do 3. We are putting a random gift card code on screen throughout the video's length throughout the month. So one video, maybe even more, depending on how many YouTube sponsors we get, will have a gift card code that you guys are going to be able to redeem through Amazon, because Amazon seems to be the website that the majority of you guys use. But if there's majority of you who say, hey, you know, Jake, you know, I don't have Amazon, we can always switch it to something different. But since a lot of you play Xbox, PlayStation, PC, this was kind of my middle ground for that. So thank you guys so much again for watching. Have a happy February, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Family Feud question of the day is, what is your favorite ESO event? Hopefully you guys don't get pulled in by the recent ones. I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, there's not recency bias here, but any ESO event, what is your favorite? Also, as kind of an update on the other videos I've been working on, as I recorded in front of a green screen, which is just right over there, and I think I might need to move it because I have this clip of myself, in front of this green screen, and it just doesn't. I don't know. I have to figure out how to use a green screen a little bit better. I'm trying to get better ways of editing and whatnot, and trying to put a little razzle dazzle in these videos, but work in progress. So thank you for sticking around and sticking with me, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.